Welcome to the CU Scoop. I'm your host, Philip Dukes, aka DukesTheScoop. Check me out on Twitter and Instagram at DukesTheScoop, and make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. And please, if you aren't already a subscriber, if you want to be in the mix for some free gear, if you want to be a part of our members only live chat where you ask as many questions as you want and we just kick it like what we call ourselves, the fam, make sure you sign up. Go look in the description in this video and you should see a link to sign up. All right, y'all, it's about where it's about 3:18 Eastern. I don't know if I'm gonna drop this soon as I put it out, or I might just wait till the morning. But we got to talk. So it's been a while. The last time you guys saw me on a breakdown, you saw me with talking about Sincere Brown, the 6'5" explosive receiver that the Colorado Buffaloes got in the transfer portal out of Campbell. Now we got to talk about who may be the most important transfer portal pickup that they've had in a while, and that's Xavier Hill of Memphis. I know, he's been a part of the class for a while now. He's been a Buff for a little while now, but I wanted to make sure we got to it, and I wanted to get my research done, and we have some other things to get into. But let's start out with who he is. Remember, went to school in 2020, out of Olive Branch, Mississippi, signed with LSU originally, played sparingly, redshirted his first year, played sparingly the second year, third year, he played some. Now, that third year I'm going to get back to when we talk about positional versatility, which makes him such an intriguing prospect. But yeah, year three, let me get my volume right. There we go. But yeah, year three, after year three, he decided to transfer, goes to Memphis, has two phenomenal seasons, was a second team All AAC performer in 23, first team in 24. And now he transfers to the Colorado Buffaloes. When you talk about somebody, and we say this a lot, but your best ability on a football field is availability, and he's been available. When you talk about 26 straight games, that's what he's done, starts. And I think another thing that really excites me about Xavier Hill, as I kind of alluded to earlier, that's his positional versatility. So last year, he played 490 snaps at left guard, and those were games 1 through 6. And then for the remainder of the season, he played right tackle, 464 snaps. He also played tight end for a snap in a particular heavy formation, and was also in a trick formation. I guess was a slot receiver, but he's somebody who has, when you talk about his size, 6'4", 320 pounds. Right now, in the first document for next year's draft that's come out that most agents get, he's listed as a 5'2", 240. So he has some athleticism there, but more importantly, he's listed as a potential 4th-round pick with the ability to raise his draft stock. This is one of the better guards in the country. He can play guard and tackle. Oh, let me not forget this. In 2021, he played 111 snaps in the SEC at LSU at left tackle. So he's played left tackle at LSU. He's played left guard last year. He played right guard a little bit, I think maybe 5 snaps last year, and he played a ton at right tackle. He's played every position on the offensive line except center in his college career. 1,000% versatile. I think he's somebody who you need for this Colorado offensive line. Now, Colorado sees him as a guard. I think right now they plug him in at the left guard spot. But if they absolutely have a need, if they don't find the right tackle, they know they've got a guy who can give you quality snaps at right tackle. That's why he's such an important pickup for the Colorado Buffaloes, who already had a very serviceable line. I think that this year's line was looking to be better than last year's, even with the transfer portal pickups they made in the winter. But they wanted to top grade, and I think that's a term that I've probably said ad nauseum at this point. But when you create competition, you got to start with the best in the country. When we talk about being the best in the country. As a guard, out of 639 guards that were eligible for this stat, as far as rating, being rated, he was sixth out of 639 in the country last year. Sixth. I had an 84 overall grade when it comes to PFF, and y'all know I got to dive into the PFF stats. Not just the ones that you see on the front page, but the PFF premium snaps. Let's start with his pass blocking. Pass blocking alone, he was 86.4, which is amazing. When you talk about someone who had 529 opportunities to give up a sack, he only gave up 2. So only 2 sacks given up last year. Also, the year before, he only gave up 2 sacks. Only gave up 4 sacks while he was at Memphis. But last year in particular, his first team all conference year, only gave up 2 sacks and only gave up 2 quarterback hits. And when you consider all quarterback pressures, that includes hits and hurries, he had a 97.6 win rate. So basically, on only 2.4% of all the snaps that he took last year in pass blocking situations, he only gave up 2.4% of the time pressure. Whether that be a sack or pressure or a quarterback hit, only 2.4% of the time. That means that, that's pretty impressive, man. I think when you look at where he is as far as being drafted, the NFL has already signaled him as somebody who they'll be putting eyes on and who can play at the next level. Right now, they have him as a mid-round pick when you talk to people. So I think that pass blocking has a lot to do with it. Now, when you talk about run blocking, he was 81.6. And PFF, as I always like to preface this, I had a class, a one-on-one with PFF, with a member of the PFF Ultimate staff. As when you signed up to get it, it's when you sign up to get the advanced stats, you can get one-on-one sessions for them to walk you through the keys and walk you through what stats mean. So during my session, I said, how accurate are PFF's grades? In comparison, like, is a 99 really a 99? They said yes, but the 90s are so rare that it's almost like PFF grades with the scale. And anyone like in the 80s is really a 90 when you think about how successful you really are. So that 86.4 is an A in their book. And you can tell it's an A because he was sixth in the entire, out of 639 people, he was sixth. So you can tell that where he is according to PFF. And we know that PFF isn't the end all be all. What we do have to pay attention to relative stats. And definitely run blocking, not as good as his pass blocking, but still very, very good. And this is where I think that Xavier Hill really helps Colorado. Last year, Colorado was a very heavily penalized team. Xavier Hill only had 3 penalties on the year. 3 penalties. Of all of those opportunities, he was only penalized 3 times. 3 penalties. That's insane. 961 chances to get a penalty last year, and he only got 3. Amazing. When you look at Memphis's offense, they threw the ball. Their quarterback was a 4-year guy, had back-to-back 3,500-yard seasons. He helped keep them clean. You look at how he performed in a victory against Florida State, against guys who, with NFL potential, even though they were not the best team as a whole, they definitely were loaded with guys who were amazing athletes. And when he played up to that level, he had a good game against Florida State as well. Graded out 85.3% in the pass game against Florida State, which is right on par with what he did all year long. We know Colorado is going to be running the ball this year, and we talk about the run blocking grade, but I think what's more important for him is that he's already been running a zone blocking scheme. He ran zone zone blocking schemes last year, 77% of the time. Only about 17% of the time was gap blocking. And for those that don't know, zone blocking is where you basically block an area instead of blocking a specific gap. That's what gap blocking is. So on defense, you have A gap, B gap, C gap. So the A gap is going to be between the center and the guard. So you'll have guys step into a gap to block. That's a gap. That's a gap blocking scheme. They did that about 17% of the time at Memphis. But zone blocking is where you have to be physical, but you really have to be agile and athletic as a line to shine in a zone blocking system, which I think Xavier Hill does do really well. And you can tell that he's nimble. That's because of his pass blocking stats. But pass blocking, I think, is a really crazy rate. But 9 times out of 10, not pass blocking, zone blocking. But 9 times out of 10, the linebacker closer to the player is going to be hit by an offensive lineman in a zone blocking scheme on the play side. So that means that, let's say if you run outside zone to the right, you need players that are you need offensive linemen that can get to the second level and get to the linebacker. So he's shown that he's familiar with those schemes. He's run gap and at LSU when he was there, they ran more of a hybrid zone versus gap blocking scheme. And the rest of those are straight up man blocking where, hey, you're just going to find somebody that's your man to go block. So he's well versed in all three schools of thought. A lot of people don't differentiate between gap blocking and man blocking schemes. But I think the zone blocking part is important, especially for what Colorado will do this year when it comes to read option. They are going to have some zone blocking in there, a ton of it. But yeah, man, that's my breakdown. I wanted to get in here and let you guys know how versatile player he was, how nimble, how athletic he was. Speaking on Xavier Hill, played in the offense where they did mix it up, but they threw the ball a ton, and he is literally the 6th highest rated guard in all of college football last year. So when he got his opportunities, he took advantage of them. I think this only goes to show you that Colorado is dead serious about making a run to the playoffs. When you talk about the goal of being Big 12 champion or winning the Big 12, you want to go to the playoffs. I get it. But they're making moves to try to win the playoffs. They want to win. They're not stopping at, we're going to be just good enough for the Big 12. They want to compete with the Big 10. They want to compete with the SEC. And so this is why you see them continue to stockpile talent. There's more talent on the way. We still got to talk about cornerback Teion Parks out of Illinois State. We still got to talk about Terrence Love. We still got to talk about the running back that's on campus right now. If I'm not, I mean, they've got people lined up, and there are more to come. And not even to think about the grad transfer market that'll be here shortly at the beginning of the summer, right at the school lets out and the graduations go. You're going to see more grad transfers get into the portal. And I think that some of these grad transfers are going to have eyes on Colorado. So if you haven't already, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. As always, it's Dukes the Scoop. And follow me on Instagram and Twitter at DukesTheScoop. And I'm going to continue staying up, drinking my tea. I'm drinking some turmeric tea. So we'll see how that works as far as some of this inflammation. But yeah, man, I had to make sure I got this video out. Tomorrow, I think we'll go Terrence Love, and then we'll go Teion Parks. And who knows, you may have another commitment by the next time that I have to get to. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all. I am out.